At your service.
What's up everybody, Startail here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the uncommon gem shuffle in World of Warcraft. So this is something that is kind of an addition to the last video that I came out with, which was the Fell Slate flip. And essentially what that video was going over was talking about ways that you can prospect Fell Slate and essentially make a whole bunch of gold with it. And then at the very end of the video, as you saw, I had a whole bunch of these, and I kind of mentioned next time we're going to talk about this. So we're essentially here today. So again, if you follow my video before, what you're going to do is you're going to prospect a whole bunch of Fell Slate, and you're going to have three things actually. First, you're going to have all those rare gems that you're either going to use and create into Maelstrom crystals or into the gem crafts with the Blood of Sargeras. You're going to put those in the auction house. You're going to also have gem chips, and the gem chips, you can just easily sell those in stacks of 200. I initially sold gem chips in stacks of 5. You don't want to do that. There are bulk buyers of gem chips. You just put them up for 200 stacks of 200. You'll get like anywhere from 2 to like 5 stacks maybe if you just buy a whole bunch of Fell Slate, because you almost always get gem chips from each prospect. But you essentially want to put those up in stacks of 200, and you'll make good profit on those very quickly as well, much faster than putting them up in individual, or rather lower stacks of 5. And the third thing that you're going to have is you're going to have all of these kind of uncommon gems. Now initially what I was doing with these gems is I was putting them up on the auction house, 1 at a time or even 5 at a time, and trying to sell them. And really, first of all, it's really slow to do that. It's, you know, you kind of come across the same problem as your gem chips, in that if you sell them in such low stacks, you're not going to sell them. But there is no real bulk buy market for these. And secondly, you pay pretty much an arm and a leg to put these on the auction house. I don't know why World of Warcraft or why Blizzard did this, but pretty much every gem in the game is like super expensive to put on the auction house. The only thing that's cheaper is like crafted gems. Like even the rare gems cost quite a bit to put them up. And then auction house fees and all that, so you really don't want to put these up. So instead, we're going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to show you that. What you need for this is you're going to need your jewel crafting profession and your enchanting profession. Guys, if you are going to pick up enchanting for this, do keep in mind that I believe, I'm not sure on this, but I do believe you're going to need to have the right level in order to disenchant these, the things we're going to make out of these, so just keep that in mind. But anyway, I'm going to pull up my jewel crafting here, and as you can see, we have all of these loops that we can make. So we can make rings, we can make necklaces, I believe. There we go. We can make all kinds of necklaces. So we're gonna start with the rings here. As you can see, I can make 154 actually, let's start with these. I can make 149 azonite loops, right? So with all of the azonites that I have, which are the yellow gems here, and actually I believe I have a little bit more in the bank. I have some more yeah, I have 200 in my bank, funnily enough. But I have all these azonites, and then I have all these chaotic spindles here. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you the cycle here. You essentially create a gem, and it could be an azonite loop, deep amber loop, queen's opal loop, or skystone loop, or pretty much any of the rings or necklaces essentially that just cost the uncommon gems to craft. And then you're going to craft a whole bunch of those. I'm not going to do those here because it would be way too much time. But you would craft pretty much all of them that you have. And then what you want to do is you just want to disenchant them. So where's my disenchanting here? I'm going to disenchant this, and it's going to make 1 Leylite shard. So now you have a Leylite shard, and this costs, what is this? 82 gold right now it's going for on the auction house. Essentially what we just did is the uncommon gem shuffle. So we took this, or we made one of these, the azonite loops, which was 72 gold. We created the azonite loop, and then we disenchanted it into something that's worth 82 gold. Now on your server, sometimes it'll be worth a little bit less. Sometimes the Leylite shards will be like 70 gold, for example, whereas it's 72 gold to make, or they might be a little bit more. In this case, we're lucky enough that it's a little bit more. But this is essentially what you want to do. You want to turn all of these gems into Leylite shards, and if you have a whole bunch of Leylite shards, and you have your enchanting skill, we can even go even further, and we can do Ley Shatter. And what Ley Shatter does is it costs 1 Leylite shard, and it shatters a Leylite shard into 3 Arcana. Now I don't have my Rune Copper Rod here, so I can't do that yet, but essentially it's another way of converting gold. You take this 82 gold, and you turn it into 3 Arcana, which is 24 gold right now, which is, what is that, 64, 68, 72 gold. So we take our 82 gold and make it into 72 gold. A little bit less gold. If you wanted to go for maximum gold efficiency, you would just keep it in Leylight shards and put those up on the auction house. But I've done it both ways, where I craft a lot of things, so I just generally just shatter all my Leylight shards, except I'll shatter half of them, so I have half of my product in Arcana and half of my product in Leylight shards, and then I'll just keep those for either selling if I need quick money, or I can just make enchants, which is a lot of what I do. So really, that is the uncommon gem shuffle. You just want to go into your jewel crafting, and I believe you'll need max level jewel crafting for this. I'm not entirely sure on the levels, but you just want to make all of the Azanite loops, all of the Deep Amber loops. Like, after you make 148 of these, you're not going to be able to make all of them. You'll be able to make like maybe 30 or 40 or 50, depending on how much you have in your bags, your bag space. And then you're just going to want to disenchant all of them. And then you're going to want to either Leylight shatter on the shards or just leave them as is and put those up on the auction house. And the fees are much, much lower. Guys, it costs so much to put these up on the auction house, and there's really no market for them. So you just want to flip them and essentially turn them into Arcana and Leylight shards, which, as I'm sure everyone knows who deals with these kind of materials, they sell like hotcakes. As we can see, what is this? 550 sell on average every day for Leylight shards in the region, according to TSM here. So lots of money to be made. Definitely what you want to do with the remaining scraps of what you make from your fell slate flips. The only other piece of advice that I will give you guys is this does take a little bit of time. So again, you really just have to sit there and kind of craft all of these shards, and it just takes a long time. So the only way really around this is to just kind of take your time. Let's say you're queuing up for a dungeon, maybe you're in a raid, maybe you're in a raid, you're in a dungeon, you have 5 spare minutes, go ahead and craft some of these. It really doesn't take a long time if you kind of do it piecemeal, just like that. And that is pretty much it. That is how you make a lot of gold. That is how you turn all of these essentially useless uncommon gems into more gold. So as we can see here, we can even do the count. So I have, what is this, about 1,000 gold here, 4,000, 4,500, 6,500, 7,000, 8,000 gold, 10k. So right there we have 10k, 10.5k, 12.5, 13k, 14, 15, 16, about 17,000 gold right there. So instead of just getting rid of these or taking forever to sell them on the auction house, we can actually make our 17k gold really quickly. And that is how I make my next 100k actually for this gold guide. So again, what I want to do with this gold guide is I want to give you techniques where you can actually, where these are tried and tested true techniques that you can use yourself, very little effort involved, and you can essentially make 100k with each of these techniques. So of course my gold will be increasing by 100k every video, and by the end of the series, which is going to be hopefully about 10 or 11 videos, I want to get to that 1 million gold mark, just using these really easy techniques, really easy methods of creating gold and essentially making money for WoW. So again, gold is really awesome. It's really fun to have. I mean, I raid a lot, so pretty much every week I'm spending anywhere from 20 to 50k just on raid materials. If you're not raiding, or if you're raiding